Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Yeah, to say you get it out of IMF. I think say a sign of relief for Obia. And the question is, how did we even get here? Because said earlier, you have saying submission no 17th time in here. But what's now here the potential of this country in terms of resources, human and natural. And what we say, dear by next year, me manage and there we need to go for that sort of assistance. And this assistance and they are caught as a last resort. And very often in Susan and the may short-term relief, but a ban I mismanage the only time I will say Ghana for ye very diligent in our spending is when we are under the radar IMF and yadia who free then we go. That is the problem. So the guarantee this time around it should be that after exit, how do we make sure that we continue? And then I think transition to the PCI and very, very important because it's not going to be financial assistance but technical assistance because they will be with you, give you certain guidance. Emma won't trip it off because your challenge has always been a trip off.
But 17 times, do you still need this PCI? 17 times. Now,
PCI. You see, sir, because politics, very often we are overtaken by certain initiative. Sabi. And for so because we end up taking initiative just for partisan expediency. So the Panama culture said, may yeah deal with, but impact bro minus, but the money will go.
Okay.
So they will guide you against some of these things. But then you also general political will and commitment on the part of the government, whether you heed to some technical advice or not as a form. But I mean, my point has always been, so we have. And this you go into that particular line, because IMF I call and I know President Akufo-Addo Pensui, and yes, I knew imagine yes, sorry, I say I call IMF. Yeah, Conam sending the ambulance in poppy, the it wasn't that we couldn't do anything because at the time you're defaulting on external credit. Your friend is saying, we are your worst year. Internally, DDEP, everything was on wayward. Or caught the credit rating agencies now. Or when you not discredited Ghana, there was no way we could go and borrow because of the track record that can be for a time go edugu. So at the point, former president then, President Mahama, advised the government said they should go to IMF because somewhere all the signs around now, the country was not getting even forest forest so only way because we didn't even the commercial space now we were locked out. We went to be to bond and then as a forum. And this money you a big constraint on the part of the government. So the only way able to any access to credit was the IMF option, which also came with the conditions and a whole lot of stuff. So it wasn't because we wanted to go to IMF, because President Akufo-Addo, I can say Ghana is a proud nation. There was no way they would go to IMF. So I told there, it means that never been by force. You have to go. You understand? So for me, I think there are lessons. And at the time, and someone not Ghana for wasn't because it be time but because the recklessness was quite clear. The mismanagement was quite clear. You do baby, you make a bubble sani, you party, you celebrity. What's in China? Are we really serious? Because if you had a natural resources, like you make a bubble sani by your party or chroma, it means our mind and you need direction. So this time around that. President Mahama there has been some smooth transition in the economic space. So we had the science before the economic template today. There are certain positive indications. And then I know most of the rating agencies and I shall say rating Ghana positive. It means that today we can return to the credit space to go and borrow. But it says that we are not going because and then the thing is that even Yaha Kasano. The government can raise bond. That is why I'm told about they are raising a bond of about 7 billion something. Almost about 32 something billion. I able raise it from your friends saying, "Yeah, Kasa your space has a because people you give you amount for opportunity to invest." So the other day, if you go and do that dollar denominated investment now, sometimes and I'm saying currency is stable. But if we bubble say na ebeye CD na wan kasa we grow for no mu invest the musika eto bond na se for no ma very easy to be able to control and pay aban betime raise sika from higher na yemfa emwa ye ho se be your mind betime a position then the private sector, just like he mentioned, always has been the engine of the economy. Because Aban doesn't have the capacity to employ anybody. Even if you go to America, which is the biggest economy The private sector employ majority of the people. Okay. It means that government at any point in time, the policy direction, policy initiative, you can employ minimum number of people. But if you're able to energize, give them credit assistance, the private sector viable. They will be able to bring in a lot of people, a bit more minor, on. Right. But if access to capital, so far as the private sector is concerned, a challenge. That's our man for cannot also access credit facility our banks are a problem. So these are some of the constraints that Bino will have to look at it. Now you're making sure. So recently, I saw the bank rate interest rate as a phone a drop. Meaning now positive signs are give you that particular leverage for private sector to also take advantage. But I think that we can do more because now Donald Trump echo China. Apart from the executive no DD, private sector investor like Tim Cook, other people, Elon Musk, the engines of the American private sector, or the just to seek investment and then as a phone. So I think government must also begin to partner some of the big investors in this particular country. When you go out and you travel with them, you give them that exposure. They're able to build connection and credit will come. Because investments in a by a Batrania GDP, GDP, we did send the home. Most of the investment, foreign companies are MTN. The amount dividends and then more post online. Dividend or making okromano, we are South African company. No one listed in dollars, no the cop. Vodafone buy we own a certain percentage. I know they're quite a kakrawum, but there are several other big companies in Okroma. They reap everything. The energy sector, the same thing. What I say. So I think that gold in as a forum. And so minus you can never grow. But these people cannot we see to go crowd or the come for onion share. When they are going, they take away your dollar. Then as a for and unfortunately, you have to say system a force company like MTN or profit, leave maybe 50% within Ghana for 5 years. Once the money stays, the economy will grow. Or maybe then they start afresh. At the end of the day, no one about a launching pad. Man for used to make money. So I think a lot of reforms must come. It's not just because IMF, no.
Right.
What are the initiative measures they go going forward? Especially at this time, the economic template seems to be a big good, stable. I think we can leverage to build the economy. A bit me abuama the private environment, I grow well because as long as the private environment grow, and you must have as a for now you go back to the era,
They say 70 years, say young
President Mahama made a promise that we are not going, and it will depend on the investment and the sort of initiative we're able to keep going forward. Always it has been reckless spending, and I think it's make it that particular tenor. We can still live within our means.
Innocent, may I say? I'm a Sambrini. They are on yes or the IMF. I see fully out of it.
First and foremost, I'm chair my constituents for any honorable titles global of the last time catch was called national organizer, and me generally campaign more. Campaign didn't everyone say, or be a next national organizer. But you see, when it comes to IMF. Over the years, Ghanaian BRB wishes say Ghana be exited from IMF program. That's a fact. But we should also know that it's on record to say NDC Nedia call IMF chair by BR. That is also a fact. So we bet now say we went to this IMF because of government, as in narrowing to the MPP government, as if the MPP government is the first government to take Ghana to IMF. Disingenuous. In 2013-2014, the same President Mama, Edia called IMF. The purpose of it is for policy credibility, because the economy now all running a loose credibility to the extent say no BM per se or be invested. And that time, the only reason why that then affected the economy was that China was facing some kind of economic challenges. China. But yet, say when you look at the Western world and America largely, America got through difficulty. It was snowball effect that affected other nations more than China. I'm not discounting saying trade has shifted to China. That even America, who say they have to now go and have some kind of also strengthen or relationship and improve our relationship with China. That's a fact. So if you went there for policy credibility. No, because of challenges of global happiness. Yet way, You cannot tell me, say, there was a country now, a country be on in the world that COVID by that country never had any impact. If we are so be FAC the challenge because COVID and they selected and then some of the reasons amount for justify as to why certain things are happening is because Iran, Israel, and America are fighting. This is something that is affecting globally, internationally, yes, affected. But when it comes to some of the things that is having repercussions on us, no, who take it for instance the oil land, import here. 20% of the world's imports are Strait of Hormuz. Ghana, you imported from Strait of Hormuz. That's a fact. So I wouldn't be happy to hear Obi to try to chastise the MPP government, as you say, it was out of sheer recklessness. Merriment, IMF. It's not a statement of fact. Online, it will tell you clearly why Ghana went for IMF program. Simply, global happenings. And you see, and then this IMF program, President Siyan I really wish say it will be the last for Ghana because subsequent governments but finally we ended up 17 times. Okay. I don't think any government or cohort ni aim ni say after a year program now we still go back there. Near SET for the previous government echo in 2023, which is ending in this month of May 2026. So if the government says that on Tuaswa, say or for the PCIs, right? That is fine. Just as Ivan said, the PCI is not monetary in this case. It's kind of some technical support by IMF. So it still tells you, say, you cannot discount the support of IMF because the discipline, no, and the issue. Okay. Because once we are on our own, then the discipline starts. Mindful of the fact, say, elections Sunday yenim and check. So sometimes these are the times, which the government is compelled to spend because who go into elections, amount for be demanding for roads, amount for demanding for certain infrastructure development. You are forced to go into it. And then normal politics comes with its own spending. And that is when normally some of government budget is thrown out of gear. So I will be cautious, I'll really be happy because everybody wants to dictate certain norma within the economy. Even though no country can be absolute. Say Obeka say, who run no economy 100% without relying on other people. Not even the mighty economy like America that is standing on its own.
Discredit how the government handled the economic situation or brow better,
Who say me discredit? Like me discredit? What's
the extent? Because IMF is by awareness, you would not qualify to be out of the IMF. So the prudent economic measures are buying the go up and can be.
But what any NDC near Wakacho say that IMF policy a previous government call the impact, the positive impact, when we say Omodi Abasubama, the former government, they make it seem as if say everything about the policy is negative, as if it has no positive impact. But when anytime IMF is backing your economy, it gives other investors out there and people who want to invest in the economy, knowing that once you are under IMF, you are constrained to be disciplined because IMF will look at your books and you cannot lie to IMF. Government, there are set instances, they told us one thing, only for IMF to come, and then they had to correct it. That was last year. So you see, that is what I'm saying, sir. Me, I will really be happy if we exit IMF. Because certain conditionalities of IMF over the years has not inured to the benefit of my way. Because when they tell you to do say over pama amount for a free a jumamu or some cut size of garment or some cut certain expenditure. Ube say unemployment rise, even though you want to cover some hole, you end up creating another hole in some instances. Because we some of the recruitment over the years many governments have been unable to do because IMF will tell you, say, don't go beyond this physical space. And if you are not going beyond that physical space, and they're happening under President Mama One, employment went to me and recruiter amount for because of this IMF conditionality. So if we are hesitant, we are going to dictate the pace for ourselves. That is fine, which I agree to it. I wouldn't come and sit and discuss. But as to whether we will not end up mismanaging our own affairs and going back there. That remains the issue.
Right. That's it. Your friend Ibrahim Kamadin, or a communications team member of the NPP. I'm a Sama Bruni and I don't name a tari friend. And okay, we have other issues. We actually didn't say when the in a minute.
You see, the problem you see when it comes to our economic development, inconsistencies in our economic architecture. Look, manifestos for political parties, edidi o ma we so no. Emma o man no enhye enko. Yentimi nya consistency in our development.
Okay.
For example, MPP and NDC, manifesto we presented to the nation. And the content is the same. It is about Baku winning election, of which you pull in Umana, Umana Ekoba. Now, we could do her not the policies, we are just because the political kind of saying social contract with Ghanaians, and the MPP dey nyade ko it be bia na kufu ado ye duma kudu ye no also oja to no so be start the social contract with Ghanaians they can say me ba me ye na monto aba ma me say we need national policy agenda political party bia me kwa the multi party many nyum Ghana multi party democracy it will never help us
back and several times
eti enka yenya economic policy framework dawa parties in what number draw manifesto it anye ye kra no one said there will be similarities bebe ewo umienu enhihye wo de bem ekobasa oman no de ye biaro kan kon de ekọ
right
enko say one step forward 2 steps backwards.
Yeah, I think the quick one. I think we are on TV. Let's set the record straight when it comes to economy and how our ebubu and then so we'll go back now. Had the rate at which we were borrowing. That was the reason why the economy crashed, and that was the reason why we were banned from the economic space. It wasn't because COVID came. Prior to COVID, now. We have as a World Bank country director, Ababon Saba Kachra Ghana for said the rate at which we were borrowing, your debt ain't yet sustainable. And we needed to take certain interventions. And yes, and the economy the recklessness was quite apparent. So you cannot just override it again. Oil now if you know how the prices are set. Ghana, we may not be buying oil directly from Middle East, but we buy from Netherlands, we buy from UK oil whatever. So they equally buy. So it's an indirect trade and once we have the OPEC countries setting up the prices, you have no control over some of these things. So I think these are the reality checks that we need to do.
Abrana Sunina and Open for any man no within Kumuno. Uraquesia de Odike, or a founder leader, or say United Front Party, say no one party, a movement, they say no, or say party in the home, movement. Now, I've there be Miriam fee, innocent, I said, I've Chino Center, how are you activist, of course, and Ibrahim Kamadin, a communications team member of the MPP, Amasama Brain, and then Seth Cobbins were a member of the NDC communications team. Now, Siciano. Last week, Bano, as a name be a course of my MPP 14 Mokaka Okruma, say the Momonkasa, Okasa, Yacho, and then you do court police station, meaning answer ya remanded a year on Bono Bridge Chairman, Abronia DC. Freedom of speech, I can't want some, or the came a fan through, so if you say, Modi, Muhu, so that buying, why I buy a Barbie sister assembly. Freedom of speech, I said, Kasa, can be at all. And then that's freedom of speech.
Before I answer you, you ready? Idi Amin can say me, or say freedom of speech. I give it to you, but freedom after speech, I cannot guarantee. What I say, and in government, and I say, Amanyo Simon, you see your finger ends where my nose begins, and you will need to be a whole cancer. I was so share and so at the Baba. When I go upon board, we are seeing an Emma Muno, Emma Odasani, baby before you to me, Fa Yadrin Coho. dedicate choice what the man will be a adebia will be choose so be no the outcome either positive to you or to others no you are responsible for it and you know say we are papa ye ni ado ebedu achi and no mo ya bone so bone kuma bone for the evil that means to lives after them and goodness and mercy shall follow you. Look, me dey me wan power and some ekosu ni na mu ne say me ntese say so obi aka say tia obi anye ne de ye koche ne harase na me ye gya no me hu say prosecution bi akoso eti na the MPP4 can somehow me no mu ya akoya adwene obi aye bone abronye ye che ne ba ko ye gya no ya anti prosecution bi abi it ends there. Yes, I continue to say, can why? Yeah, Jano, no prosecution. So many of them be kept causing, but yes, I continue to be kiki near Jano. There's a winning evidence to prosecute her. Yeah. Why do you go for that? Why do you go and arrest somebody? I don't get it. It's really say, must say, Obiaka said, and the rule of law, no criminal label law, no, it's at work. And I say,
yes, you are prepared for.
You are prepared for. The patch say, you so my you kasa, WW, you can't, you feel to speak.
Yeah.
Still, as I want to so what can't say now, yeah. You are liable. Obi better with walk or
yeah.
I mean, Argentina, all these people are actually chumina, but me, this by means through crown. Nipa be 11-12 dem say ya so mu when ya ko bi fie na ya ransack yes ye but when me na area it ends there.
Okay,
so what is the rationale behind it?
Okay,
why should we move into somebody's house to ransack there? We are findings their course na some Rambo style of arresting people, no, it won't help anybody. I have to say MPP there this no more I used to say you do me I do you.
Okay.
And that was Swara and this in the MPP on. They are much of a matchness. The same template and when you should a boo man.
Okay.
It is a way of position. The oil was there and but I not justify. Mobile much see and go for so they show me. Now it's almost called political point. Which is not good for this country. As I now create enemies for yourself.
Much will be in terms of our casa and Kuyeni Adena. As it me prosecute Mosana.
And no, yes, sir, much because we can set our civil.
Okay.
It is the best thing to say, or one of the same command. Then the court process starts.
Okay.
Now, when near the
for the court process, no.
Pepe, milk set Yamia. Need to be amiable. The mayor said, my lawyer said, Nipa we. Wakase tiame evidence am won say me record no etimu court processes na dey tia wakase tiame no me ya but say quite say you use police and security apparatus no to intimidate ya
and I'm sure Dr. Bawumia be can say there will be a day of accountability
but Dr. Bawumia I didn't expect him to make such a statement. Do you know why? Say command mu no MPP4 enye extraordinary people. Omunye immune to arrest.
Okay.
But what you say? Ye timichi obia. It is a champion before. Now we are paying with the MPP anymore. The only thing about say, oba boy nipa na ya che no say, kwamba de be fa so a sa eche na eche won. Ye benya attention ni ama wo. Ba ko ka say ba o mo chichi enkofo a. What it means is say aba no fa say hu na chichi MPP ni bi
because for MPP.
But MPP you know. It's Bawumia ba bontin as a leader. Media na many young.
So the
say I was ba bontin. Okay. About making such statement.
Mate set MPP for na say mo honto mo kakra. Na mo opposition mo kan bi.
Ni aja wusu. Aya ni aye ni MPP for kan. Amenti ase omo nye secondary to our laws.
Ade.
Omo ba ye hwɛ mra omo de aba efa sa act suban a ekoso anne ye de omo fa mra mo a omo kasai unim se
Electronic Communication Act omone de bae. National Security Act ni nyina no omone de bae. Di ntia na omone samra no ba. Ye hyemra abra suman bi wo ho a ye pese ye kateli na ehwe ma yenya yasumwie. Enu ntia ye hyemra. Nia MPP for kanu nyina no omuntimi enka ase nia abronye ye no ntiamra.
Omose mu ye bi.
Oh. Ye bi e na omo ye den. Me no conversation we aba no me pese ye free political equalization na ye hwe issues no as they are. Now Ghana mra e won nyina no e wo ho se e ba be boy ho ban se be ya ibenya ya sumwie e wo oman we mu.
Okay.
Until now ye wo article 21 of the 1992 constitution no e kire say ye wo freedom of speech and expression. Until so be expressing his view and answer or kasa Ghana mra no bon ho ban so bit ma expressing his view. Notwithstanding article 164 no eso ka kire say so be express your view and obe kasa e wo say ye responsive e wo so nya se bi obuo e ma man for right se be ya se bi o kasa o ka no enko gu obi hu fi but ye hwe na ye nua bronye gina simpie so etimi kasa kire e ka tia a sitting judge e ka say onye judge ana onye judge memum oye politician e na o de bottle akata uti e from ho judge ye hwe issue we se sa issue we no ye mfa ntoto emra e ma okwan se under article 21 so otimi kasa na juxtapose article 164 se asem o kan no
irresponsive
responsive asem o kan no engu obi hu fi now otimi criticize obi judgment but otimi criticize ni pano persona judge no judge so pass judgment na on issues of law na o hwe asem na o maaye no na judgment na o maaye no na o hwe se ene mra bi anko yi a otimi criticize that asem on issues of law and I mean say nua bronye se bi onye lawyer mpa wako law school a onimu nsunsanso e wo sa asem yo
okay
ye nyina ebedu ba bi ye discuss ye even a judge on this same abronye issue a ye no court and now pass judgment ni orbiter o ma in law ye kasa de bi ye orbiter ye ratio no wo say o ma judgment a we na ye mra u gina so aso ratio wa ye na mum as I judge no uso wo ho kwan say ugo uma other commentary ye friend orbiter MPP for be gina asema ye orbiter o man commentary enye the law
judgment
and no enye judgment no mum out of orbiter na say expression bi a o man judgment bi o ye no omo de no gina so e ka say judge no ne judgment o di atentene no di bu abronye no na enye atentene ne ba me no mi no say be producer ya call law school da no ye nim say judge for sa liberty no say na teacher for so say omo academic freedom so omo so ye omo but ye gina sa say mo so enyu judge bi e kasetia no e wo man we mu but ya twi obi a wa boss because the judgment o man no na ye criticize but this time round ye nua bronye we misuse the freedom of speech ama na trash ye enti so freedom of speech no e trash ya enu je wo ye criminal code act 29 wo ho no uko section 207 ni section 208 ni nyina kasa kire yen say e wo say ye kasa ana say upon your freedom I wonu nyina no we should be very responsive bronye anyesa but ordinary person ya ya enye me nwanwa ana enye me ya
ti say camera ho nti no nipa no de waka say tia no betimi a check in on by also going to court no obesi no na afi akombre
je oba Ghana your normal minu either so bi ko ma report na wa say oath on criminal ya obese oath na ya taking on our court and now say your prosecution of police for any attorney general na ehwe enti say obi ya ade na ebe ha oman na sumbi ana ya ade a etia obi fa ho dia police for ho kwan say omere invite ni pa na no me arrest no ma prosecute no na me papa odike ka say bi producer ye chi ni pa na ye gya no ye nim kra bronye ya convict no da on similar issue as a judgment na e ba no e na me kan ho judgment am for criticize conviction no e dey say even your pronouncement say kodam wande na tweska no cry conviction
you didn't call remind you need not say
and right now we dey remand
now no dey na ye can make other judgment na o say me become judgment bi a o ma orbiter ye de be ya asem kan organ ha sa issue na make say ya friend o honda and now no asem na ye ken ye mo be reminder na che say ye nwie judgment no ye nwie assembly no but sa remind ye ba ye no actually before be remind you na ye hwe odimi na osu no ban
okay
say after say ye wo court a ye di wa asem no ye free court no suba be na wada na di yem bisa ho say abronye ne personal TV station na wo no after say ye asase mu ya ye
di kan kwa obetase be mu no
ba mu no ni we no ni behavior etisen and the issue of punishment ye punishiwa se be nya ni je so na ye punish nipa na mom sa punishment no ebe mo nya adwensa kire bi na sa adwensa kire na obenya ebe sakira wa ankasa
boy your friend say adenta kumi mo chiri me bi asise
nti u follow case no ya arrest obi a prosecution and ya papa knows can or say the wheel of justice
grants ruling
that just into the mere fact say o say muslim say Ghana no news no ba na invite ni pa no beginning na no obi ani di akire no processes na court proceedings na ko obi ani di akire bi
say that's all court
but what I'm saying is say in America no say me papa odike
but justice delayed justice denied
okay ni nyina ye
ni America no say tini
yanko na me ni
ma me forma no si ni America ni nia MPP for ne ye papa Bawumia enya the gas so ba be gina simpi so na wa twere letter tenten aka say Ghana ye democracy ene ye freedom of speech no Ghana ye mfa nya adwuma bi no okasa oboa if you say so oba Ghana ye democracy so o ka democracy a your institutions and now your factors are you say democracy here me ba me ono na eka enti many issues on aka no and I just suppose and I make sure say democracy all can say democracy here adwuma no ye bi say say court no and na e chi abronye no ye no ko say military barracks
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases PENDREAM TV